Hello, friends. You're listening to the haunting horror stories. Friends, I hope you all are doing well. So today I have brought for you many true stories sent by the subscribers. Friends, if you also want them to see on the screen and send my WhatsApp, you can send it to the number. But there is one thing. If you want to send me your stories, then do it for a while because I have a lot of work to do, and after that I record the stories. If you send it to me, then your stories will definitely fly by. Without wasting much time today, its stories are hello friends, my name is Juhi. Although I am from Gorakhpur, but I live in New Delhi with my family, which includes my parents and younger brothers and sisters. Today I will tell you all about an incident that happened with my father. Let me tell you a true incident. This incident happened around 35 years back when my father was studying in the 10th class. At that time our village was not much developed and our house was made of mud. At that time, there used to be a few houses far away from our house. So Papa tells me that at that time there was no electricity, and people used to light kerosene lamps in their homes. And there used to be a big pond in front of the house, which is still there, and there used to be fields far and wide. And there was a cemetery at some distance from the house, and there was also a pond at some distance from our house. It was a day when my father's board exams were going on, and he sat down to study after having dinner. And you know that people in villages go to sleep early, and my father's board exams were near, so he had to prepare for the exams. It had to be done. So after everyone went to sleep, Father lit a lamp and sat down to prepare for his exam. It was a small house, that too made of mud, and the door was made of wood. So my grandfather and my grandmother, i.e. my father's mother Papa, everyone used to sleep in the same room, and yes, my father's uncle also used to live with us, and he had raised cows and buffaloes near me. He used to study at night, and while studying there were about 12 children at night. In the silence of that place, my father felt that someone is calling him, and he thought that friend who will feed me at this time of the night. He thought that it is me, and he is scared. They started falling, but after a while my father called out and said, "Hey, Ramsrick, come here quickly." Then my father opened the door and saw that there was complete darkness all around, and in the dim moonlight, his son was standing far away. When Cha-Cha-Ji was calling, my father thought that maybe our cow is broken free from the rope and is running away, and that is why Cha-Cha-Ji is calling, so that two people can catch her together. Then he also followed him with a stick and kept on calling him. "Hey, uncle, hey, wait, I am also coming. Where are you going?" But that man was not responding to my father's words. He was just walking, and my father was following him and calling him. As he was going, there were pigeon pea plants in the fields, which were very large and dense. My father was moving forward, cutting through them. Then, even after calling repeatedly when there was no response, my father got a little strict, and there was silence. The sound of the cricket was also very beautiful to me. Then my father stopped there and sat down, and when he saw the pigeon pea plants below, I saw that person, whoever he was, who had taken the form of uncle, went and sat near the well, and stood there and turned towards my father, and as he turned, he said, "Hit me." The blood flowing in my father's veins stopped. "Hit me, father," at the same place. He saw that the man's eyes were shining in the dark, just like a cat's eyes, and his height was also gradually increasing. Seeing this, my father got scared and ran away from there, breaking through the bushes. And that man also started following them. Then suddenly that devil came very close to my father. Seeing this, my father got very scared. Then he started reciting Hanuman Chalisa loudly and started running even faster and went to his house. I went inside, opened the door and closed the door. But the devil was still falling from outside and was making a very scary sound. He started crying near me, and he woke up his mother at night. Seeing all this, all the family members woke up, and some people started asking what happened, son. But my father was not in a condition to speak. So in the morning, my father narrated the entire incident that happened with him. Then on hearing all this, the family members got very scared, and they thanked God that nothing happened to their sins. Otherwise, that demon would have taken them there and killed them in that well. After this, my father had high fever for a few days. Then in the morning, my grandmother brought a tantric from our village, and after seeing my father, the tantric told him that the devil has killed many people today by drowning them in this well, and it was his luck that he ran away from there in time. Then they told the story of how he became a devil. Once that man went to fill water in the same well, but at that time he had a big fight with his wife, due to which he was very mentally disturbed. But while filling water in the well, his foot slipped. He went and fell in the well. He tried a lot, but nobody heard his voice. After his death, he became a profession, and he used to go outside people's houses and call them in the voice of their loved ones, take them with him, and kill them by drowning in the same well. Even today, when my father remembers that day, he gets very upset. Hello, friends. My name is Virendra Maurya, and I am from Uttar Pradesh. I am from Dumariaganj. The incident that I am going to tell you today is a completely true incident. Actually, there was a private school in our Dumariaganj where education was imparted till class 8. When I was young, I studied there from LKG to class 8. In those days, our school, there was a peon in the school. Since childhood, we had seen him doing the duty of a peon in the school. This is from 2016. We were in class 12 and it had been 2 years since we left the school. During this time, we heard that the peon had died. That too due to some illness, and he was found dead in a room of the school in the morning. Well, about 3 months after his death, it was a wedding of one of my friend's brother, and all of us friends were going to go to the wedding procession. The wedding procession was just leaving when my friend of mine, Rohit, said, "Friend, it wouldn't be fun like this. Let's go and drink beer." I too was in the mood, so both of us took beer and thought that we would find a good place on the way and have a pack. There was a school on the way. So I said to Rohit, "Let's go. Where will you go so far? There will be no one in school anyway. 11, it's ringing. Let's drink here." And now even the peon is not there. And he said, "No, friend, the principal's son was," telling me that the peon spirit still roams around the school. I laughingly said to Rohit, "Hey, friend, this happens only in films. He is a coward. I just wanted to scare him." I tried forcing him to go, but he agreed, and we both jumped over the wall and were in the school. So I took him to another classroom, and we sat on a bench there and started drinking cheese and beer. Then in the end, we heard the sound of someone's footsteps coming towards us. We were scared to find out who was coming. I thought it was not the principal coming, but Sir always came on a bike. We did not even hear the sound of the bike. We both sat quietly in a corner. We sat quietly. After a while, the sound of footsteps started coming from the school bathroom, and the sound of water coming out of the tap was clearly coming. Now even I was scared. Rohit said in a scared voice, "Friend, this is the spirit of the peon." I said, "No, friend." Then, "Reiki, you tell me then who will come at this time of the night." Something hit my head as if it was a small pebble. I asked Rohit, "Why is he hitting me with a pebble?" He said, "I did not hit him, friend. You don't get scared. I am feeling scared anyway. Some insect must have hit me." Then that pebble hit Rohit as well. I said, "Friend, I too have been hit by something very strongly. It is not a bug, friend. Maybe there is really something present in every particle." Then I switched on the flashlight of my mobile, looked on the ground. I was shocked. There were pieces lying there. Then I heard the sound of footsteps coming towards us again. I immediately woke up, and we both hid in a corner, and then someone came into our room and stood in front of the door. It was very dark in the room. We both were looking at him hiding in the corner, but that shadow-like person did not appear from there. I was watching. 5 minutes passed. That shadow was standing there. Rohit was shivering with fear beside me. Then, gathering courage, I switched on the flash on side. Still, she was standing there. She was a completely black shadow, and was about 8 meters long, was 9 feet long. Then I and she too got scared and went away from there, and said, "God," we started running while taking the name of Ashok. And as soon as we came out, the door of the room got closed by itself with a loud noise, and somehow we both came out. Well, the next morning when Rohit told this to the principal's son, he was not surprised. He said, "Hey, I was already telling you that the spirit of that peon still guards the school many times. My father, i.e. Principal Sir, has also experienced this thing, but that spirit of the peon never harms anyone. It just guards the school after all this happened. I was convinced that the soul of the peon is actually doing his duty even after his death. This is a true incident that happened with us. Now, friends, it is up to you whether you believe it to be true or a lie. Hello, sir. My name is Aman, and I am from a small district of Pilibhit in Uttar Pradesh. This is a true incident that happened with my friend. My friend's name is Akash. It was the year 2017 when we went to a small district of Gujarat. Something happened to Akash, who used to work in a factory. He went to another factory in greed for more money. As long as we both were together in Gujarat, we used to go to the same factory together. After I went home, he started going to another factory where he used to get more money. So one day something happened that my friend Akash was working in the night shift. He went to the bathroom at around 2 o'clock in the night. He tried to open the bathroom door, but the door was not opening. He tried for a long time and hit the door with his hand, but the door was not opening. So he thought if there was someone inside, he would have said something, but there was no sound from inside. So he stood outside the gate for a while. He thought that if there was someone inside, he would come out. Then he waited for about 10 to 15 minutes. But then no one makes any sound, nor does anyone come out. Then my friend Akash tried to open the gate again, and as soon as he touched it in one go, he got a little scared as he saw this. He had heard earlier also that in this factory this often happens with the working people, but he had never believed it. So when the gate opened, he was quite surprised. But then he went inside the bathroom, and then when he started opening the gate to go out, suddenly someone caught his leg, and then the bathroom lights started turning off and on. Seeing this, Akash got very scared, and it seemed as if the check was not coming out of his throat. It was as if his wrist was pressed down. Then suddenly somebody knocked the gate, but he was able to move from his place, nor was he able to utter a sound. Then again somebody knocked the gate, and then someone pulled his leg in such a way that both his legs got stuck. Hands were hit hard on the gate. Whoever was standing outside heard the sound and understood that something was happening with Akash inside, because he was a supervisor of this factory. Then that supervisor called 5 to 6 people from the factory and brought them. People tried a lot to open the gate, but it was not opening. It seemed as if it was not a gate but a wall. Akash was in a very bad condition inside. Then there was an uncle working in the factory whose name was Abdullah. He had been working in the factory for many years. When he saw all this, it did not take him long to understand. He pushed everybody aside and put his hand on the gate and started reading something. Then he said, "Now break the gate." Then all of them together tried to break the gate, and after 2 or 3 attempts he opened the gate. When the gate opened, what you saw made everyone's senses fly. Akash was standing inside as if a human lizard was stuck to the wall. His legs were above and hands below. Then the same uncle went inside and read something on Akash. Then 3 people pulled Akash from the wall. Then all the people took Akash inside the factory and made him lie down. Then tried to bring him back to consciousness. He started trying, and when he regained consciousness, he told the whole incident to everyone. Then the supervisor of that factory said, "I was looking for you for a long time. Then the boy working with you told me that you were back in the bathroom. I went to look for you. Maybe you were somewhere smiling. You have not gone to the bathroom, because no one goes to that bathroom after 12 o'clock at night. Whenever someone needs to go to the bathroom after 12 o'clock at night, he goes outside the factory gate and does so. Then that uncle, he told me that I have been working here for many years. Whenever a new person goes here, such incidents happen with him. But today till now, such a horrific incident has not happened as happened with you." Hearing this, my friend got very scared, and he decided that now he will not work in this company. And again he left the company and started working in his old company. Hello sir, my name is Sandeep, and I am from Delhi. And today I want to tell you a completely true incident that happened with me when I passed 12th. Then I searched for a job in many places in Delhi. I kept wandering for interviews, but I was not selected anywhere. Then one day I was looking for a job, and I met a friend of mine. He said, "Friend Sandeep, why are you so worried?" I said, "Friend, I am looking for a job, but I am not getting it." Then a friend got me a job in a hospital, and that too in the night shift, in which I used to work in the blood sample laboratory. So one day I had to work the night shift. The doctor said that today I was on duty in the ICU. I said, "Okay, sir, I will take some samples and go home at night." I was going by lift. It was around 2:30 in the morning. Suddenly the lights went off, and I was stuck in the lift for 1 hour. I was stuck there. Then suddenly I heard a girl screaming, but I couldn't see anything because I was using a Reliance phone at that time, so my phone didn't have a flash. And this incident is from 2008. Then I used my brain a little and took the lift. I opened the door. I saw that the door was open, but there was a wall in the middle of the lift, due to which I could not get out. Then I remembered my favorite deity in my mind, and after a while this list started, and I came out. And I saw that I reached a room in which dead bodies were kept. I reached inside, but I don't know how I lost my balance, and suddenly the door of that room got closed, and suddenly only the fan and light started turning on and off automatically. Then I saw a woman who was in the form of a bride, and was wearing gold jewelry, and she caught me tightly and slapped me a lot. Gaurav was flying in the air, and she was holding my collar very tightly. I was scared. And asked, "Who are you, and why are you hitting me?" He laughed and said, "How did you come here?" I replied, "I came here by mistake. I work here." Then I started chanting the Mahamrachyanja mantra Bholanath in my mind, and as soon as I started reciting the mantra, she started shouting and suddenly disappeared, leaving me. Then I got a chance and ran away from there, and then I went downstairs. He came and started asking a nurse that Madam, a witch lives here. Then she silenced me and said that, "Sandeep, you are absolutely right, but do not tell this to anyone. Otherwise, all these people will leave their job." Then I said, "Okay, Madam, I will not tell anyone," but from that day I swore that I will not do that job, and I left that job. Hello, sir. My name is Anuj, and I belong to Faperin. My story is quite old, and this story my grandmother told me the story. My story begins like this. My grandmother used to say that there was a time when people were afraid of some strange animals. At that time, people used to go to their homes in the evening. Believe it or not, believe it, but it is true that for some time the news of sudden death of people had shaken the entire village. People who used to sleep on their farms were shocked. They were found dead the next day. Due to this, people stopped staying in the fields at night and started staying in their homes. Then these incidents started decreasing a little bit. But now those animals started coming inside the village, and they started killing other animals like goats, sheep, buffaloes, even dogs were not spared. These animals had disturbed the sleep of the people. Everyone was worried, but what could they do because no one had seen that animal till now, and the one who saw it was not a child. One night, when my grandmother opened her eyes, it must have been around 1 or 1:30 in the night. She was unable to sleep, and there was no net on her bed, but then a loud sound scared her. There was the sound of a horse neighing and Ajay music. Got up slowly from her bed and went to the door, and when she peeped through the door, she saw an animal that looked like half human and half animal. It was a goat. He was taking her somewhere by putting her in his mouth. She says that he was looking so dangerous, and there was blood all over his body. That night was very terrifying for them. She fell unconscious at the sight, and the next day she woke up in her bed and was crying due to fever and was telling all this to her parents. Slowly time passed, and everything became fine. No one knew from where that animal came. He was there, and where did he go? No one has been able to find out till today. Hello, friends. Whenever I remember this, my blood starts clotting and a tingling sensation starts running through my body. I have always been fond of mountains. I like my dreams. So as soon as I was transferred to a hilly area, the first thing I did was to look for a house for myself. Perhaps my luck was very high, so I soon found the palace of my dreams. It should be called a mansion rather than a house. It is much better. There were 6 rooms, a garage, a small garden. Everything was there. When everything was sold properly, I called my wife also. By the way, let me tell you that in my family, my wife Saroj and my wife's brother Vinod, and with the arrival of my 2 lovely cats and elephants, it feels as if there is some freshness in the house. Thanks to the handling of such a big house, I needed servants, so I thought of going to a nearby village and making arrangements for 2 servants, and the next day I went to the nearby village early in the morning. That village was very strange. It seemed as if people were just passing their lives. He is no more. A strange gloominess was visible on his face. I saw a small shop and went there and asked if I could find some work here. The shopkeeper said, "Babuji, there is no dearth of people working here. Anyway, the people here need more money." I could not get work. He sent a small boy to call some people. In a short while, a small crowd of people willing to work gathered around me. But as soon as I told them my home address, everyone got scared. I could see the matter on their faces. Slowly, the whole crowd moved away from me. I was very surprised. I wanted to know the reason for this from the shopkeeper. Then he told me that the house in which you people live was built many years ago. There lived a businessman and his family. He was very rich, and some people of the village killed him and his family out of greed. That businessman was the only one left in that family, so he requested the villagers for help, but no one helped him. That businessman knew black magic, and he did a spell on that house and the village. People used to say that the businessman handed over his body to a vampire, and from then on strange incidents started happening in the village. People started dying. Then some people of the village gathered courage and burned the businessman and buried him there. I knew that these stories are very common in the village, so I did not pay much attention to these things. I asked the shopkeeper to increase the fare, and finally I found people to work for me. When I returned home, my wife Saroj was busy cleaning the house, when suddenly Vinod brought a small old pot from somewhere, and before we could say anything, the pot slipped from Vidya's hand and fell on the floor and broke. As the pot fell, a stench spread throughout the house, and a terrible stench spread. She started coming. We quickly collected the pieces of the pot and the ashes that had come out of it, and threw them out, but I did not know what unfortunate thing was going to happen. It has already started. A continuous growling sound was coming from inside. I peeped and saw both my pet cats fighting with each other. It was very strange because before today I had never seen them fighting. Both of them were fighting. She started moving around as if she was looking for something. Then suddenly there was a loud noise at the door, and then slowly all the windows and doors started rattling in the strong wind. I ran out and saw that a terrible storm was coming. I have never seen such a storm in my life. I had never seen this before. It seemed as if the storm would take everyone away. The doors and windows were still rattling terribly. Both my cats were still scared and were hitting the nearby doors with their claws. Saroj and Vinod also came inside. "Oh, what a horrible weather it is," my wife Saroj said. Vinod was also very scared and frightened. Since childhood, Vinod was incapable of speaking and hearing. Vinod was repeatedly looking out of the window. I asked him in gestures. He pointed outside the window. I looked towards the window, and I could not believe my eyes. This year the tree was wrapped in a cloth. He was leaning on the lamppost, and his white cloth was waving in the storm. Suddenly lightning struck, and before my eyes everything was over. He came into the hall with everyone and waited for the storm to subside. Finally the storm subsided, and I went straight out of the hall. I went towards the tree where I had seen the man wrapped in a cloth. I did not see anything like that near that tree. I thought that it may be a figment of my eyes, but then I saw a burnt white cloth there. I was not able to understand whether all this was me and us or the reality. When I came back home, I was faced with a new incident. Someone had turned all the stuff in our bedroom upside down. All the stuff was scattered. Saroj started crying after seeing all this. She started saying that this house is inauspicious, and there is definitely something bad in this house, but I did not believe in these things. I thought that the villagers do not want anyone to live here, and that is why we have come here. That night we sat in the hall. I decided to sleep. By evening I felt like a drop of fog spreading all around. In that fog, I fell asleep quite late in the night. Suddenly I screamed. The meridian broke. I saw that Vinod was very nervous, and looking towards the window, he said that he is coming. I was very surprised at a person who never spoke a word in his life. How could he speak so clearly today? I turned towards Shekhar, and the man wrapped in clothes was standing against the same tree. Then from inside, I started hearing sounds of both my cats fighting and crying. Seeing all this, Saroj and Vinod started crying uncontrollably. But I am not one of those who gets scared so easily. There was no sign of it. I scolded both of them and asked them to keep quiet, but now the whole atmosphere had become very quiet. I peeped through the window, and there was nothing there. The next morning both the servants, Hai and Mohan, had returned from the village. I had given them hope. He ordered to clear the nearby bushes. After this, when I met Vinod, it was clear from looking at him that he did not remember anything about the night. Then Hari's voice came from outside. He wanted to show me something. I saw that among the bushes there was a hole. I said that maybe some wild animal must have made this hole. I asked Iyer to close that hole. I got it done. Nothing strange happened till evening, so I took a sigh of relief. But by evening the same problem started spreading again. Then Saroj came and told that Vinod has high fever. I saw that Vinod was burning with high fever. At night, we did not think it right to go out, so we took the help of medicines kept at home. After Saroj and Vinod went to sleep, I started doing my office work on my laptop. After a few days, I heard the sound of something falling. I ran outside and saw that Vinod's body was lying outside, and both my cats were busy licking the blood oozing out of his body. Mina, I immediately picked Vinod up and took him inside. His body had become as cold as a bird, and both his eyes were bulging out. Seeing Vinod in this condition, Saroj started crying. Now I had lost my power to think and understand. Then I felt a movement in Vinod's body, and seeing this, I did not delay and took out my car and took Vinod and Saroj to the hospital. They shifted Vinod to the emergency ward. In the morning, the doctor informed me that Vinod is out of danger. I thanked the doctor then. Saroj seemed attractive there, and she told me that now she will not stay in the house even for a day. Looking at the circumstances, I too decided to leave from there and told Swaroop that as soon as Vinod gets well, we will not stay there. On the way to the hospital in the afternoon, it was over when the nurse came and said that we can go home if we want. Vinod will not have any problem here. I asked Supreme to come home, but she did not want to go at any cost. She decided to come home alone. That some important work of my office documents was pending, I came back home. I saw that some more bushes were also cleared, which meant that Hari and Mohan had come, but I got very angry to see that the mouth of that pitcher was closed again. The hall was open. I came into the hall, turned on my laptop, and started doing my work. Everything went perfectly. By the time I finished my work, it was evening, and it was getting foggy again. To divert my attention from all these things, I started watching a movie. While watching it, I realized that it was not a film but my life being shown on the screen. Soon, that scene came in the film where the character was sitting in front of the TV. I started watching the film more carefully. I was curious to know what happens next. Then in the film, lightning started to strike with thunder. I really could not believe it. I saw that lightning struck outside with a loud sound. There was thundering, and along with it the sound of falling raindrops could be heard. After that in the movie, someone was trying to break the door, and then with a loud sound the TV turned off. I was very courageous, and I am one of those who get scared easily. I was not there, but then I heard a loud sound. Maybe someone wanted to break the door. It was exactly like what I had seen in the film, and then there was a sound of the door breaking. My condition had become such that it seemed as if Mina had squeezed out the strength from my body. Whoever was outside had come inside. I could hear the sound of him covering his head. He was slowly breaking the doors of every room. Maybe he was looking for me. I wanted to learn, but I could not make any sound. I was not able to get out, and neither did I have any strength left in my legs. It felt like someone had tied me to that chair. That sound was slowly coming closer. Now I could also hear the sound of her breathing. I used all my strength to get up from the chair and run, and I fell down from the chair. The sound of my fall made her realize where I was, and then I saw that the person who was someone was trying to open the door of my room. Tears were coming out of my eyes, and I was trying my best to get out on the road, when suddenly the door of my room broke down with a loud noise, and he had broken the door and entered inside. I don't know if he was a human or an animal. His height must have been around 8.5 feet. Most of his body was covered with hair, with his big and huge legs forward. He was slowly moving towards me that I felt such a sensation. I was feeling as if I was paralyzed. For a moment, I thought that I will not be able to survive, but then I heard the sound of a gunshot from outside. The bullet must have hit the animal, and so it immediately ran away from there. Hari and Mohan both came inside. Hari supported me and lifted me up. "Are you okay?" Hari asked me. I was unable to utter a word. Then Mohan said he brought me water. After drinking the water, I gained some courage. Some other people also came out. "We have to find him." He must not have gone very far. There are traces of his blood here too, Hari said, and saying this he went out. Mohan told me that we should have taken some rest, but I refused. Now I also wanted to be a part of this campaign. We all went out and started looking for him. The blood stains from his body ended up at one place. He must have been somewhere around here, Mohan said. I had this feeling again and again that he is somewhere nearby. While searching for him, I came near the pit. I felt the same foul smell there as I was feeling inside the house. I had a bright torch with me. Mina, I started trying to look into that pit through him when two hands came out from inside and started dragging me inside. I started shouting for help. I was trying my best to escape from their hands. Meanwhile, hearing my scream, Hari and Mohan came there suddenly, and the grip of their hands loosened a bit, but I could not control myself and fell in that pit. Don't you worry. We were coming down, Hari and Mohan said from above. It was good that I had my torch with me. I started looking around with the torch. It was an old basement. I gathered courage and slowly started moving forward. The other people also came there from behind. My heart was filled with joy. The heart was beating fast, thinking of something untoward. That tunnel-like cellar was very large from inside. As we were moving forward, the foul smell was increasing. There were remains of animals lying here and there. At last the cellar turned into a large hall. I went there and ended up there. Contrary to our expectation, we did not see anything there. We were just leaving from there when Mohan stumbled and fell down. He said, "Something is definitely hidden here." We searched on the first floor and found the place where the example was. It was a big iron sheet, and as soon as we touched it, my heart actually stopped beating, because that huge monster was lying there as if he was a statue. An axe was stuck in both his hands. Hari said I had fired the bullet at this only, but it seems as if it has been lying here for years, Mohan said. That's when I saw it. There was a hole on his left shoulder, which was still bleeding. I gestured to the others to show him that he must be cremated right away. Hari said we must collect some wood, but we can't leave him like this. I said finally. 4 of us stayed there, and the rest went to collect woods. We should look around. Maybe we can find some useful things. Mohan said. We started looking around, and then we came to know from where that thing came, and at once he came with us. A person was cut into 2 parts in one go, and he said, "Run away from here. Save your life." I shouted. We started running fast. He was right behind us. I was lucky that I managed to get out of that pit. He was right behind me, Mohan said, but perhaps the person standing behind us was not so lucky. In one stroke, we killed him with the axe. Now he had come out of the pit. His eyes were glaring like red embers. But this time we were also ready. On one hand, Mohan also applied a massage pack on her. Because of her long hair, she suddenly got a fire in her body. She applied it on Mohan. He threw an axe, but Mohan was alert and defended himself. We all pounced upon him with the spices and burned him. His screams were making the whole atmosphere terrifying, and finally he fell down on the ground with screams. And after some time it turned into ashes, and as soon as it was over, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. We all came and sat in the hall. At this time, only one thing was going on in my mind. That did Hari and Mohan already know about it? I knew everything. Maybe Mohan understood what was going on in my mind. He said that you must be thinking that how do we know all this? And if we know everything then, why did we not tell me earlier? Then I would like to tell you that we knew the secret of this place long ago. If you had met us before coming here, we would have never allowed you to come here. It must have smelled you before you came to the village. We were searching for it for a long time. That's why we are working as your servant, come disguised as a man, so that you don't have any doubts and our search can continue. If we had told you earlier, you would neither have believed us nor would have let us come here. Today its story also ends. I was there when I felt some noise. I looked outside and there was a huge storm. I said that the story has not ended yet. Look there. He stood near the tree and started looking at the place where I had pointed. There was a man wrapped in clothes. But in this time he was not leaning against the tree, but his body was waving in the sky. The strips of cloth wrapped around his body were growing in the storm one by one. Now what is this? Hari asked. I said that I have seen this here many times. Then Mohan fired at him, but it made no difference to him. He fired 3 shots one by one, but all in vain. My bullets are not having any effect on him. We will have to see something else. I have something else too. Saying this, Mohan opened his bag and took out 3 tridents. He told us that these tridents are made of a special metal and have been enchanted. We picked up the tridents one by one and came out. Mohan had reached close to him with the trident when he got the last strip of the human body too. And it happened as if there was no human being there. The whole atmosphere became absolutely quiet, and a thick fog started to spread there. The water was so deep that we could not even see Mohan. Then I heard a painful scream, and in a short while, Mohan's lifeless body was lying at my feet. I ran away from their screaming. I could not even understand where my feet were going. There was only sound of shouting coming from behind. Then I stumbled and fell down. There was some sound like something cracking coming from near me. I tried to look carefully, and it was my own cat. A dead body was lying near it, which she was busy holding. I tried to move back slowly, but she still saw me. Now she left the glass and started moving towards me. Her eyes were shining as if she pounced on me. I tried to stop her with my hand. She tried to bite my finger, and I started moaning in pain. I grabbed her neck and started squeezing it tightly, and in a short while she calmed down. I threw her aside. My hand was still bleeding continuously. I took out a handkerchief and tied it tightly on my hand. Now I became very cautious and started moving forward in that business. It was very difficult to watch. I was cursing the day I came here. I wanted to get out of here at any cost. A little distance away, I heard someone breathing heavily. It could have been one of us. Thinking this, I cautiously started moving towards him. He was breathing fast. Seeing me, he hugged me and said, "Keep this, you will need it." On saying this, he started sobbing, and with folded hands, he asked me to save him. Someone pulled him back. His screams slowly faded, and thinking that it might be my turn, I held the trident tightly. I was looking around with wide eyes. I could feel that whoever that person was, he is also very close to me. Then someone caught me by my legs and started dragging me. I couldn't see anything in the fog. All I could see was those 2 big shining eyes. I don't know from where I got the courage. I looked at his eyes. With all my strength, I put it in my place. All I had to do was make Bhavna feel scared. Everything was gone. I got up from there and headed towards my car. The tornado started running. It was very fast. I got in the car, and without caring about the pain in my hand, I drove off at full speed. I was watching the tornado from the side of the car. It was completely over in about 100 minutes. I was devastated. I was taken straight to the hospital from there. When my wife Saroj saw my condition, she wanted to know the reason for me. So I made an excuse that I had met with a small accident. "How is Vinod?" I asked. "He is better now." Saroj said, "Look, now Saroj said that we will not live in that house." I said, "Yes, now we will not go there. I am resigning from my job today itself." Saying this, I kept watching the news on TV, in which it was coming that a house built on the hill has been destroyed in a landslide. Until now, more than 4 lakh rupees have been recovered from there. I thought that maybe it was written in my fate to survive. That's why I am alive here today. Hello, friends. This story is about a small family that goes through a haunted highway to go to Bikaner. They go, and what all incidents happen with them. You'll get to know this in the story, so please listen to the story till the end. So come, without delay, do we listen to the story? Wow, Mama. Finally, we all are going somewhere for a trip. Otherwise, in all these years, we all have not gone for a trip anywhere. 8-year-old Mama said to her mother, "Mother, son, go quickly. We have to leave tomorrow morning. Let's go," smilingly caressing her head. She went to her room to sleep. That she declared us free to go. Looking at her husband, Rakshit said, "And what has come now that Mummy is not happy?" Rakshit started smiling and said, "Okay, it's fine now, let's go to sleep. We will leave early tomorrow morning." Today we were going for a drive, so while getting up, I went to my room. The driver was driving safely, and Akka was sitting on the seat next to him with Hamari in her lap, and Hamari was jumping with joy. We will go to Bikaner like this, we will go to Bikaner, seeing the happiness of this piece of ours. The faces of his parents were also shining. It had not been long since they started driving. That suddenly, as soon as Rukshith looked at the highway road in front, I got down. The road ahead was broken and in such a bad condition that it was no longer possible to go further from there. Some laborers were there, they were working on repairing the road. It seems we will not be able to go further, Rukshith said, a little disappointed. No, father, we have to go ahead. I don't know anything. I have to go. He just respected us and said, here, son, now look ahead, the road is closed, and how will we go ahead? He wondered, pointing towards the front of us. He said, here, mama. And saying so, he started feeling safe and was about to turn the car to go back when he heard a thug on the glass of his car. So a man of almost her age was standing outside. What happened, brother? Why is Chitra crying? He looked at us and asked, look, brother, the road ahead is completely closed, and our princess wants to visit Bikaner too. In any case, but now what else can we do except returning? Rukshith said, well, this is not a big problem, brother. When he said this, Rukshith looked at him with surprise. Hey, I mean, brother, can you see a small way? This road also goes to Bog. This road is a little unpaved and a little longer than the highway. If you hear this much, Bikaner Yudi will give you a once again ours jump with joy. Thank you, brother, for showing the way. Your Rukshith said, at this time the happiness on Angchul and ours faces was worth seeing. Brother, I request you, if possible, please tell me also my name and the zodiac sign on the way I live in the village and work here in the city. But my bike is broken down, and I have to go home urgently. Yes, why not? You can come. You have helped us. Saying this, he pointed towards the back seat of the car, Rajesh's seat. I sat on the road and started my car towards the road which was told to me. It was a good road with pebbles and stones. There were wild bushes on both the sides of the road, which were completely dry, and there were barn bushes on both sides. The small, bright red-colored plum fruits hanging there looked very fresh. Papa, what is that? He was pointing towards those feet. Son, this is our plum. Come, let's go. He said, I don't want to eat it. Son, I cannot walk on the road. He said, you are so making fun of the old things. He said that it is not a big deal, but the truth. I told the subscribers that one should not eat any fruit. While talking like this in front of evil spirits, he said that the fetus is right, and there are many such things. Such things happen. We ignore them thinking they are a joke, but later on this can become a big problem if you don't worry and Bobby G. People come and go here and there is no danger from here. Rajesh said, Papa, let me eat plums, please, Papa. Bring out the feeling of victory in us again, and then move ahead. Otherwise she will win like this all the way. Rukshith said. Achal got down from the car in a confused state and started walking. She had plucked a lot of berries, and while plucking the last berry, a thorn from the bushes pricked her hand, and the blood oozing from her hand started to fall on the broom as well. She immediately picked up the berries and went and sat in the car and cleaned her hands. Rukshith moved the car forward, but the broom which had caught hold of Anchol's hand started bleeding. Nobody noticed the broom that was dripping blood, which was slowly becoming lighter as the car moved ahead, and the few berries that had been put on it had turned completely black. The weather was completely bad, and in the scorching sun, dark spots started appearing somewhere, and then suddenly a very strong hot wind started blowing, but only for a short. While after that everything became quiet, all of them were moving forward while eating banked. It was around 12 o'clock in the day, and now I was in a mood to take a nap. I went there and slept in his lap. By the way, brother, I thought that you people, if they are educated people, they would not believe in ghosts, etc. Rajesh said for the purpose of talking. What kind of detail was this that could be debated for hours? Oh no, brother. Being educated does not mean that there is no answer to something which science cannot answer. He does not have any existence in this world. Where there is good, there is evil also. And where there is evil, the same is good. It will do, but brother, I do not believe in ghosts. While expressing his views, Rukshith said, brother, if life would have shown me, then we also did not believe it. But you see, I am completely sure that when Rajesh said this, Rukshith started laughing. Hey, brother, don't laugh. You know, people tell the story of this road that once the work of building the road was going on, this was there earlier, but due to accidents and deaths here, the government closed the road, and during the construction of the highway, the contractor used to take the money himself and make other payments. When he used to come, a group of laborers caught him doing this and told him that instead of taking such substandard material, he should go to the government. The government has given money for road construction to fill the drains, but despite explaining a million times, he was not buying those materials. When they decided to complain against him, before the accused could go to the hospital, he got all of them killed one by one and buried their bodies at the same place in the darkness of the night, and the next morning he found a road being built at the same place again. It started from there. He built this road over the dead bodies of those people. Nobody even knew what happened to those workers. Now, because all those workers had died untimely, they were all wandering and coming here. They kill every passerby, and not only this, the people who get killed here also stay here and keep wandering. There are some good souls among those who die here who go on the road and stop people from coming here. Then a lot of these spirits do not find a victim by the right time. They go to the main highway and disguise themselves and find their prey. Rajesh said, and his face went completely blank while saying this. How do you know so much that we should go today? He asked, a little disturbed. Now what should I tell Bobby G? We are also one of the laborers. Rajesh said this in one go, and on hearing this when Rakshit and Angchal 17 when she looked back, her heart felt like it was pounding in her throat, and her eyes were widening in surprise, as if they were about to pop out. The face of Rajesh, who was sitting in the back seat, had turned completely white. He was beaten up at several places. It was white in color and looked like a hut. When Rakshit tried to open the car door to get out, it was locked. When Rakshit looked at the road, he saw that the dry bushes on both sides of the road had turned completely black. A whirlwind of hot sand had come right in front of their vehicle due to which they could not move ahead. In the scorching sun, painful screams started coming from all around. Angchal Rakshit's eardrums were about to burst after opening them. She was trying to understand things. Hearing this, she just woke up but was not able to see Rajesh's face, sitting in the back seat of the car. After that, she again became unconscious, while Raja was sitting in their car and was repeatedly saying only one thing loudly. You have started believing in ghosts, right, brother? And after that, where did that whole family disappear? Did not know then, after a few weeks, a beautiful car was running at a high speed on a highway in which a married couple was sitting. It looked like they had just got married. Both of them suddenly applied brakes because in front a big tree was lying broken on the highway. Then there was a knocking sound on the glass of their car. An 18-year-old girl was standing there. What is this, son? The boy asked. He looked at both of them and pointed towards a road on their left. He started saying, Uncle Ani, you should not go there, otherwise you will never be able to go where you want to go. I too could not go there. Saying this, the girl disappeared when that boy looked here. And there then that girl was not there when he looked in front of her. When I looked, I saw that there was no tree there, and the car had moved ahead. So friends, do tell me how you like this story by commenting. And if you understood this story, if yes, then please tell me in the comment, and I will meet you tomorrow with another new story. So be ready at 9:30, and yes, I will bring a long story for you guys, and that too by the last month. So please don't say that upload a long story. I have promised you guys that I will definitely take a long story on the last mass. So if you have come, you must have subscribed to my channel, and if you have not done so, then please do so.